Welcome to Interview Connections. We're the first ever podcast booking agency. I'm Jessica Rhodes, the founder. And 12 years ago in 2013, I started booking my dad as a guest on podcasts because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And fast forward to today, we're a multi-seven-figure agency. We've worked with over 800 clients. We've booked more than 30,000 podcast interviews. And this podcast is all of our top lessons from the last 12 years, booking entrepreneurs on podcasts, scaling our company to be multi-seven figures a year, distilled down into bite-sized topics and episodes to help you learn from us. I co-host this show with Interview Connections co-owner and CEO, Margie. And without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. I am super excited to be joined by one of our clients who has achieved incredible success. He has quite literally monetized the mic as a podcast guest. And he also has expertise in a topic that I've been wanting to do an episode on. It's been several years since we've talked about SEO, and that is also his expertise. So we're going to be talking about his results as a podcast guest and generating high ticket clients in his firm, and then also pick his brain a little bit about SEO. So let me tell you a little bit about Steve Wiideman, specializing in strategic planning for multi-location and franchise SEO campaigns. Steve of Wiideman Consulting Group considers himself a scientist and practitioner of local and e-commerce search engine optimization and paid search advertising. Steve has played a role in the inbound successes of brands that have included Disney, Linksys, Belkin, Public Storage, Honda, Technicolor, Skechers. The list goes on and on. These are all very big names. So let me bring on Steve. Welcome to Monetize the Mic.
Jessica, thanks for having me. And I have to tell you, I have such a fan crush on you guys have this incredible show. I've been following it for a while. Like one of these days, I'm going to be good enough. And then the day came up and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm actually going to get to hang out with Jessica. It's going to be amazing. So thank you for having me. I'm super honored and happy to share as much as I can with your listeners.
Well, I am so excited to have you. The feeling is mutual. So thank you so much for coming on. You recently sent us a video sharing about, it was a testimonial, and you shared the results. You've also referred many people to us. We are so grateful to you. We love the entrepreneurs that you refer who sign up with our program as well. So let's first share the results you've seen. So give everyone just a little bit more background on your business, because for our listeners who aren't clients of Interview Connections yet, they might be thinking like, what types of businesses are successful with this? Some people will ask me, oh, well, your clients are, I'm not at the level yet where your clients are at. And then other times people say, are your clients just starting out? So I think it's always helpful to get like a real life case study. So tell us like about your business, like if you can share kind of roughly revenue wise, like how big or how big you are. And then we'll get into the results that you've achieved by being a podcast guest.
I mean, man, if we're going to get all personal, geez.
Yes, this is, we get all that as much as you're comfortable.
No, I'm just teasing. So yeah, I've been in digital marketing about 23 years now. Sometimes I forget how many years and I'm like, wow, I said 22 last year. So it must be 23 now. Oh my God. I left the corporate world behind in 2010 to start my own small consultancy. I'd worked with some pretty exciting brands previously in corporate, such as Disney Parks and Resorts, managing Disneyland.com and Adventures by Disney. I did some work with Expedia Corporate. So I did my, IBM Global Services, probably the biggest one. I did my time and I said, you know what, one day I'm going to run my own company and I'm not going to do any of these things that these corporations do in terms of how they treat employees, how they push for personal growth. I want to have a different culture. And that was the reason I decided to kind of go off on my own. And 2015, we incorporated from being just Steve Wiideman to Wiideman Consulting Group. I've had as many as 20 team members. The moment we're down to nine of our elite as we continue to reduce the amount of services type work we do for our clients and continue to do consulting type and training type services. And that allows us to be small and nimble and innovative and creative and do crazy amounts of research. And it's just been a lot of fun. So right now we're around, depending on the year, we're averaging about 1.5 to 2 million a year. most of which goes to salaries, right?
I
And
get that.
software and crazy, shiny things that us SEOs love to buy. Oh, new tool, new thing. Oh, a new service. And so yeah, it's been fun. And the journey hasn't been about financial growth for us. It's been about camaraderie and being passionate about our industry and just working with some really exciting clients. Like right now, our two biggest are Applebee's and IHOP, each with between 1,700 locations each. We also started working with their new spin-off brands. The new Flipped by IHOP opened up in Lawrence about a month ago, and in New York last week. The Cosmic Wings brand, which is part of Applebee's, it's a ghost brand where you can order wings online through delivery service providers. Also launched last year, and real kind of a soft launch. And then now we're looking at 2022, and hopefully this new brand is going to really blow it up. So very exciting to be in digital marketing, supporting clients that are looking to, really try to scale how often they show up in search results, and for how many relevant keywords they appear for, and then just making some really great relationships.
That's incredible. I thank you so much for sharing all of that as well. I know it's not all about like vanity numbers, but I appreciate you giving us kind of the overview of you and your business. So, tell us about the results that you've achieved through podcast guesting. Like, I know that you closed a $60,000 contract. I want to get into the nitty-gritty of how that happened.
Of course. So, we were looking in the beginning at podcasting as a way to sort of reintroduce ourselves to the digital marketing world. We had spent so much time just sort of helping agencies and helping clients that we hadn't done any of our own marketing. As we speak, our new website is in the works and hoping to launch in a month or so. So we thought, hey, let's get out there and let's throw old SEO Steve back into the marketing world, and not just be the client's support and the agency's agency. And the result was a lot more than that. We actually ended up meeting some incredible entrepreneurs that run these podcasts that I'm still friends with and connected to, and they help us with sharing amazing content. We share their amazing contents. We've just built some great relationships out of it. Secondly, is from an SEO standpoint, there's three things that really help us to drive more traffic from organic. One is the helpfulness of our content. Two is how often Google is crawling to our website from these links that come in from other websites. And the third, of course, is how users interact with our result when they do perform a search. But that second piece in getting some links from some pretty incredible sites was amazing. And so we look back at our link profile. We use tools like ahrefs.com and semrush.com, and it's amazing to watch the growth and how many links come in without us having to pick up the phone and say, hey, will you link to me? Or, hey, I can write a guest blog for your website, and all that garbage you get in your email every day, right, Jessica?
Yes,
So,
I get those at
so
least 3 times a week.
exactly, or a day for me. So
Yeah.
being able to do this kind of content was it was trifold, right? The first part was the fact that we built great relationships. Second was that we earned links. The third, and the part that I think got you the most excited, was the fact that we've made revenue from it.
Yes.
And that 60K is really just a very, very small piece of what we expect to see from the relationships that we started from those folks who emailed us after some of those events and said, hey, I just listened to your podcast. I just listened to, the video on YouTube from such and such, and I really could use some help with this. And by the way, thank you for the free access to the training tools and the free videos, and you're so giving and everything that you do. And like, well, that's what we do at Wiideman, right? We're about transparency and staying small and nimble and having fun and helping businesses. And so after the fact, we've got, I think, about 60 leads now that
Wow.
that we're still communicating with, that we hope into the new year will result in either a new client or eventually even some additional referrals. We've had at least 3 people who couldn't afford to work with us that referred us to others, and that was amazing. So the one deal, how it happened, I was on a show, and we were getting really deep into technical search, and this particular client is in the healthcare industry, and they were really challenged with some of the SEO changes or organic changes that Google had been making around core web vitals and around page speed and mobile experience. They didn't really have a content roadmap. They were just kind of throwing content out without doing enough keyword research and organizing it into more of a information architecture or content roadmap. So the one lady listened to the show. She sent an email, and within I think about 2 days. And it was funny because I remember when I was talking to her, I said, what, let me do a little bit of research for you just to see, if we'd be a good fit and see if I can find any low-hanging fruit. And I provided some examples of some areas that they can start on. And I said, yeah, so if at some point you want us to do a full strategy, and she's like, let me just stop you there. And I'm already sold. Just send me an invoice. I'm like, well, I haven't even told you what we charge, so she was so excited. And even today, we've been seeing continued growth and success with that account, and I've gotten referrals from it. The team, that works with her are all always impressed and having a great experience with us. I was just on a call with their writer last week, and she was just completely happy after the call about how much knowledge she was able to to increase in what she does with building content that ranks well in search results. So that was the big account. But as I mentioned, the relationships will culminate into future shows that will eventually result in us getting even more leads. And then the leads that we already have, a lot of them just are at the end of the year, and they simply just don't have their new budgets yet. So
yeah,
they've all said, follow up with me in January or February.
right.
So I would imagine, if I had to guess based on what we charge for search audits and consulting retainers, that we've probably got about $250,000 of value. And that's just year one. I can't even wait to see what we do next year.
That's incredible. Wow. So I heard from your booking agent, Dan, that the show that customer came from has like 5 ratings. So talk to me about your perspective on the sizes of the podcasts that you guest on.
I'm kind of niche. So for me, it's not really about, being on a massive audience. It's fun, when you have 1,000 people listening or something, but it's really more about getting in front of the right audiences. And Dan, who's our hero, sends an email every week. Every week we reply with, "You're amazing. We love you. You're incredible." We have 3 other companies that do a little bit of outreach for us with the brands that we'd like to work with, and none of them have had the success that that we've seen with you.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
it's incredible, because that's their job, is to actually do cold outreach and bring people in. But the reality is, the education piece, when you educate a client on, what they really need to focus on, you've already earned their trust. So I feel like we have more success in just being on podcasts and shows than we do doing cold outreach. So next year, that's going to slow down quite a bit. But yeah, so Dan's been incredible. The shows that we've been on, some of them have a very small audience, almost nothing. I get on the video with the person, and they're super casual and and kind of grunged down. And I'm like, this is someone I would totally hang out with on a normal day. Am I really on a podcast? And and then of course after the show, they're like, hey, by the way, I've got a couple clients that I work with that would love to talk to you. And it's like, see, that's all it takes is one podcaster who has 5 listeners. Obviously, shows have a hell of a lot more than that, but who has 5 listeners who want to refer 3 of their existing clients to you after talking to you, or they say, I have to listen to the show again because I have to unpack all the stuff you shared. It's just amazing. So I don't think the audience size has been a qualifier for us. I think it's been around just making sure that we're talking to people who are small business owners or larger brands that are trying to figure out how to scale, but they're really centered around digital marketing, or a little bit broader marketing as well, and in some areas even just technology. So those have been great audiences for us. We've never been on a show that hasn't been relevant to us. I don't know if Dan told you this, but one of the podcasts we've been on was actually an actress who now moonlights and does cards, like Christmas cards and thank you cards. And I had no idea. I did the show with her and we're chatting, and then after the fact, I'm like, why does this person look familiar? I'm like, oh my God, she's an actress.
Oh, wow.
I was like, if I would have known beforehand, I would have been like freezing up and
Oh my
getting all
God.
nerdy.
That's
But
so funny. No, he didn't
it's
tell me
amazing.
that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll share with you after the show. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And even now we're still helping some of those folks when they come back, like, hey, I'm working on a new website. Can you have any advice on our staging server? Or, hey, could you help me with my Etsy's? And,
Yeah.
wherever we can just provide, a little bit of help and keep nurturing those relationships, I know they're going to evolve into more. And all of that was because Dan and the team there have made those introductions. And I could tell on some of them are a little like, oh, here comes another SEO guy, right? You can just tell because people are so jaded over it. And I
Yeah.
understand why. But after a few minutes, they realize, wait, this guy isn't selling anything. He's
Yeah.
not trying to sell his service or whatever. And I feel like that's been the most successful. At the end of the show, they're all kind of like, whoa, we just did 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and you didn't sell anything. You just gave great content. So I feel like if you're going to sign up, if you're going to do the podcasting thing, don't do it to try to sell your business. Do it to share your knowledge and experience and stories and case studies. And I think you'll see much more, much better results, and you'll see some pretty amazing clients come in.
Amazing. And so what was your call to action on that show, or what is your call to
I had a
action when?
real easy one. So
Okay.
I teach. I moonlight at UC San Diego, Cal State Fullerton, and Fullerton College, teaching
Mhm.
digital marketing. Somehow I got pulled into it. I created the programs. They're all online. It's easy. But I curated some of my own content and created an academy of search. And we really want to evolve that into a product for next year. And so what I did is I said, hey, since I've already created some of this content, I'll just give it away for now, get some feedback on it, and see if it's a great way for us to connect with people who have an interest in search. So my call to action was sign up for Academy of Search and use promo code SEO Steve, and they get a $600 training program, almost identical to what I teach in strategic SEO at Cal State Fullerton. So that was my CTA, was sign up for the program. And when they do that, of course, I get an email address, and when we have new courses and programs, they'll see those. We don't do cold outreach or emails
Mhm.
like that. Instead, since they had an interest in a course, if they want to see some of the other courses in the future, free and paid, they'll have access to that, and they can subscribe whatever they want to. But at least now I'm connected to them. There's a way for us to communicate and for them to stay in touch. And the other call to action was simply, hey, if you're struggling with trying to figure out why a page isn't showing up in search results, send it over to us, and we'll pick it apart and see if we can figure out where the challenges are. And so we've been able to help a lot of small businesses overcome some in some cases technical, in some cases content related hurdles to performing better in search.
That's amazing. And the client that you closed, did they go through that call to action, or did they just go to your website and reach out to you?
That's a good question. It was so long ago now. I'm pretty sure it went straight into an email and then into a call.
Yeah.
And I don't think they actually signed up for the program. I think they were just so excited after hearing some of the things that we were talking about on the show that they just want to talk to us right away.
That's often what we see. So that's why I wanted to ask that, because, we teach our clients how to have a good call to action. But at the end of the day, oftentimes I hear listeners are like, yeah, I just actually want to hire you. Like, I don't need your free thing. I don't need to be on your email list. Like,
Right.
just let's get in touch. So that's why I think it's important to have a good call to action, but at the same time, don't overthink it. Just focus on giving value, because the people that are ready to hire you are just going to reach out to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, keep it simple. Don't, like you said, don't overthink it. I think that's the biggest thing that holds us entrepreneurs back, is we overthink everything. Oh, I don't want to do that because I want it to be perfect. Or I'm not going to get a green screen because I've got to figure out all the setup. And it's like, just try, just get in there and start playing with things and experimenting. Just, don't overthink it. I think as soon as you step out of the door in a lot of these areas of marketing, you find that it's much less work than you expected. Or you could do what some of our clients do and hire an expert to come in and build the roadmap for you so that you don't have to figure it out on your own, right?
Preach. Yeah. If you need SEO, go to Steve. You need to be on podcasts, come to us. Don't try to figure it out. As soon as you're trying to figure it out, you need to say, who do I need to help me with this? So I love it.
Absolutely.
So, Steve, I just had you give your call to action, but where can our listeners connect with you online?
Sure. I'm all over social at SEO Steve. My team, we love to help businesses. Like I said, we're not looking to grow an agency, so we never sell people who reach out to us for support. It's just Wiideman, Wiideman. We're on IG, we're on Facebook, we're all over the place, right? So if you want to just throw out a tweet or a question or have us take a look at your website, by all means, go for it. You can also just email me if you want. I actually check every single email, and thanks to Superhuman, I have a zero inbox every day. And my email is just steve@wiideman.com, WIIDEMAN.com. I challenge you, email me, see how quickly I respond.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, Steve, thank you so much for coming on Monetize the Mic. And thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks, Jessica.